Okay, picture this. The open road stretching out, that familiar hum of the engine, just mile after mile of America unfolding. For so many of you listening, that's not just some image, right? It's your office, it's your livelihood, it is your life. But this whole world of trucking, as massive and frankly essential as it is, well, it's changing fast. And these changes, they're not just headlines. They hit your daily routes, your home time, your bottom line, and yeah, your future. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going to pull back the curtain on some critical topics shaking up the trucking world right now. Our sources, they come straight from the community. We've got some powerful articles, real insights from truckers via and life as a trucker that gives us a unique perspective, directly from folks living it. And our mission today is pretty clear. Explore different viewpoints on these big issues, connect the dots, how these stories impact your life behind the wheel, and maybe offer some practical thoughts on adapting, maybe even thriving. Because, Hervey from Life as a Trucker always says this, and it's so true. Finding real solutions means looking at things from all sides. So we'll try to unpack some complex stuff, but keep it light, engaging. We want you to feel respected, supported, and ready for what's next. Not just for the shippers, but for you. Let's get into it. All right, first up, safety. Trucking safety, it touches everyone out there, but man, the headlines often make it sound simpler than it is.
Oh, way more complicated. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's start with the undeniable stuff. The industry-wide concerns drivers face daily. We're talking about, real driver fatigue, those long, sometimes unrealistic hours.
Definitely. And the training standards, they're all over the map, aren't they? Company to company, state to state.
Wildly different. And then there's equipment maintenance, sometimes, sadly, getting shortchanged to save a buck.
Which, unfortunately, connects to the statistics. We have seen an upward trend in crash rates involving commercial vehicles, a serious concern.
It is. And you hear calls for change from advocates, from drivers themselves, even some more forward-thinking companies.
Right. They're pushing for things like standardized training, much better enforcement of the hours of service, sleep rules, and tighter, more consistent inspections. Real practical stuff.
Practical, yeah. But safety discussions can also take a really tragic turn, like that recent incident in New York. A motorcycle rider killed trying to pass between two semis.
Ugh, yeah. Horrible situation. Lane splitting, they call it.
Or threading the needle. And it's illegal in New York. And just incredibly dangerous, especially between two big rigs.
It really is. I mean, think about it. Why is it so risky there?
Uh-huh.
Blind spots, first off.
Huge blind spots. A motorcycle there. It's basically invisible to the trucker, maybe both truckers.
Exactly. And that gap the rider sees, it can vanish instantly. A slight drift from either truck, maybe traffic slows suddenly. There's just no reaction time. Zero.
Imagine being in that cab. Suddenly, tragedy unfolds literally inches away, and you might not have even seen it coming.
And truckers are saying, we're not the enemy here. We want everyone safe. They're driving defensively, constantly scanning, but you can't react to what you can't see.
Or to someone making a really reckless move right beside you. One source put it starkly, that space ain't a lane, it's a trap.
Powerful. And it even sparked debate within the motorcycle community. Some defend careful lane splitting elsewhere. Others are urgently calling for education on truck blind spots, truck physics.
And law enforcement, their message is blunt. Don't split between trucks, period. Just assume you're unseen. Take the extra seconds. It could save a life.
It really highlights how road safety isn't just on the truck driver. It's absolutely a shared responsibility. Requires awareness from everyone.
Totally.
And it's that complexity, that shared aspect, that sometimes gets tangled up in, broader narratives, political ones even.
Yeah, that brings us to a really sensitive area our sources touched on, and we need to be crystal clear here. We're reporting what the source material says, not endorsing any political view.
Okay. Impartial reporting is key.
So the article is Trump using trucking safety concerns to push anti-immigrant policies. From Truckers VA, it points to this trend where political figures might use real safety issues to advance other agendas.
Exactly. The source says former President Trump linked safety concerns to immigrant drivers, suggesting those without citizenship might be less safe. And this narrative reportedly included hints at stricter background checks for non-citizen drivers, maybe limits or even bans on immigrant-owned trucking businesses and targeted audits.
Right. But, and this is crucial, the same source immediately brings up the counter-narrative. The data often tells a different story.
It really does. Many immigrant drivers, who often take the toughest routes, the lowest pay, actually have lower accident rates sometimes. And frankly, they're vital to keeping the industry running.
Absolutely vital.
And that's where advocacy groups and some trucking organizations push back hard. They argue, look, this isn't about safety. It feels like scapegoating.
Hmm.
They say safety problems are industry-wide, affecting everyone, not tied to where someone was born. And these crackdowns, they could seriously hurt small fleets, independent guys who rely on a diverse workforce.
So what's their solution?
Focus on real safety improvements for everyone. Better funding for training across the board, driver education in multiple languages, raising standards without profiling based on race or status. Fix the actual problems, basically.
So you end up with this whole spectrum, right? Drivers saying, hey, safety issues are often about money, training, pressure, not passports. Fleet managers worried, like, we can't staff routes now, chasing people away won't help.
While, some voters might connect safer roads with tighter immigration, and advocates are saying use policy to fix safety, not politics to divide.
It's definitely not black and white. It's like 18 wheels of complicated opinions and factors.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Building on safety and fairness, how is the industry itself starting to address driver well-being? Because that's changing too.
It has to change. The PeopleSource USA report really laid it bare. Trucking is bleeding drivers. Turnover is just sky high.
Like a revolving door sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just numbers. It's real burnout. Same routes, constant stress, pay maybe not keeping up. It makes drivers ask, is this worth it?
Plus, outdated training, right? Like you said, sometimes it feels like watching an old VHS tape.
Yeah, the report was genius because it didn't just state the problem. It said, look, companies that don't invest in their drivers, they're not just losing staff, they're losing their future. It's becoming a survival issue.
Survival. Okay, so the fix. The report boils it down to three things. Adapt, retain, train. Let's unpack that. First, adaptability.
Right. Using tech. Mobile apps for real-time load info, instant feedback, more flexible dispatch, putting some control back in the driver's hands.
Makes sense. Second, retention. And this isn't just about paychecks, is it?
Not at all. The report stressed that drivers often leave because they feel ignored, overworked, undervalued. Retention is about respect, communication, building a real team culture. Stop the revolving door, build a family, metaphorically speaking.
Like building a team, not just filling slots.
Yeah.
Okay. And third, training beyond basics.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's not just about operating the truck anymore. Drivers want help with managing money, using new tech tools effectively, mental health support, even career path options.
So smart companies are bringing in mentors, online learning.
Mentors, online modules, even AI-powered coaching for certain skills. It's about professional development.
This whole shift retention, better training, it's not just nice to have, it's becoming a, what did the report call it? A survival skill for companies.
Exactly, a survival skill.
Yeah.
And speaking of innovations helping drivers, let's talk about LTL relay logistics and those hyper-connected hubs.
Okay, LTL, less than truckload for folks maybe not in that sector. Shipments that don't fill a whole truck.
So what's this relay logistics?
Think of it like a really smart driver swap, almost like a NASCAR pit crew, but for freight. Instead of one driver hauling something 600 miles and being gone for days.
Which is grueling, totally. Instead, they plan these optimized handoff points. Driver A does a shorter leg, maybe 250 miles, hands off the trailer to a fresh. Driver B at a smart terminal, keeps the freight moving without burning anyone out.
Okay, and the hyper-connected part, that's the tech.
That's the tech backbone. Real-time data, predictive analytics for traffic or weather, smart terminals linking everything, better routing, less empty miles, less waiting around.
So the direct driver benefit, this sounds like a big deal for retention.
Huge potential driver retention boost, yeah. Keeping drivers closer to home, running shorter legs, doing a clean handoff, getting back for dinner. That's a massive quality of life improvement.
Game changer for morale, potentially.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you'll hear skepticism. Old school guys will say execution is everything. If that relay driver is late or the terminal's jammed,
The whole system breaks down.
right, it has to work smoothly. But the idea, the potential to improve the driver's life is really powerful.
It really feels like a turning point, maybe. Some companies finally starting to invest in you, the driver, as a professional, seeing you as a valued team member, not just, a number behind a wheel.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
But alongside these driver-focused shifts, there are these, massive tectonic forces reshaping the whole industry, too. Big money, big tech consolidation.
Right, like CEV Logistics, huge
Wow.
news there. They're restructuring their whole North American operation, and the investment number is staggering.
$20 billion from their parent company, CMA-CGM. That's not just tweaking things, that's aiming for dominance. End-to-end logistics control.
Total restructuring for efficiency, vertical integration, basically. They want to control everything from the ship to the final delivery van. Kind of the Amazon playbook, but for freight.
Exactly. And massive tech upgrades underpinning it all. Real-time tracking everywhere, predictive routing, automated warehouses. Data is absolutely central to their strategy.
So what does that mean for, say, smaller players, regional fleets, independent drivers?
It could be tough. Regional fleets might lose freight access if they can't sync up with CEV's tech or service model. For independent drivers, the spot market might shrink as more freight gets pulled into these closed loops.
Although maybe more steady work as a CEVA contractor? Potentially?
Potentially, yes. And for small brokers, the 3PLs, it's direct competition with a company that owns the ships, the ports, the trucks, everything. A real giant.
So you get the usual arguments, right? Pro-consolidation folks say it streamlines the chaos. Shippers love the visibility. Makes sense.
But the pushback is real too. Worries that too much consolidation kills competition, squeezes out the smaller guys, limits choices.
And the driver's view, I bet it's pragmatic for many.
Often, yeah. Look, if it means better routes, more consistent miles, more home time, okay, I'll adapt. Show me how it benefits me.
It really brings up that critical question, doesn't it? How do individual drivers or smaller outfits stay relevant, even thrive, when these global giants are pouring billions into owning the whole chain?
It forces everyone to rethink their strategy, their value proposition.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And speaking of rethinking everything, let's talk driverless trucks. That sci-fi concept that's, well, getting very real very fast.
The elephant in the room, for sure. And the America Drives Act is right at the center of that conversation.
Okay, what's the core of that proposed legislation?
Essentially, it would remove key human-centric safety regulations, hours of service, drug alcohol testing, mandatory rest breaks, but only for autonomous commercial vehicles over 10,000 pounds.
Wow. And it overrides state laws.
That's the plan. Create one national standard, basically giving AV companies a clear path, a green light, to deploy across the entire U.S. without navigating different state rules.
Okay, motivations. The pro-tech side, the AV companies like Aurora, Kodiak, Waymo, what's their argument?
Their main claims are safety. They argue AVs will eventually be safer than human drivers' efficiency and solving the driver shortage, although, as our source noted, that shortage is often framed more as a retention problem.
Right, retention, not sheer numbers. Okay,
Yeah.
but the concerns from drivers, from workers, they must be huge.
Immense. You hear things like, okay, when a robot crashes, who's liable? Who's accountable? There's the concern that AVs lack human intuition. They can't read subtle cues from other drivers, react to sudden weird weather the way a person can.
And the biggest fear of all.
Jobs. Plain and simple. What happens to the millions of us driving trucks if this technology scales up? It's an existential question for many families.
Yeah, it really throws that tension into sharp relief, doesn't it? Technological progress versus the human element, the human worker.
Exactly. It's bigger than just trucking. It's about the whole future of work debate. Who sets the rules? Who manages the transition? And it perfectly highlights Hervey's point again. You have to see these issues from all angles to find solutions that work for everyone, not just the tech developers.
So with all these massive shifts swirling around consolidation, AI, driverless tech, it's easy to feel, well, maybe a bit overwhelmed, like things are happening to you.
Understandably so.
But this is where the conversation pivots, because a theme running through all our sources is the power of personal adaptation, building your own options.
Taking control where you can.
Exactly. It's that reminder. Drivers need to manage their time and energy not just for the next load, not just for the shipper, but for themselves, for their own future.
Which means asking tough questions, right? Like, is my company keeping up? Are they really investing in me and my skills, or am I just, filling a seat until maybe a robot takes it?
And if the answer isn't reassuring, the sources, especially from Hervey and LifeAsAtrucker.com, they offer a really proactive path forward.
Yeah, their message is powerful. It's about helping you get out on your own terms, not being forced out, but choosing your path.
And their solution is pretty radical, in a good way. Train truckers on how to use AI.
Not to be replaced by it, but to leverage it.
Exactly. Leverage AI to create extra streams of income. Online income.
This isn't just about pocket money either. It's presented as a strategy for regaining autonomy, building resilience.
Yeah, like having your own personal freight lane of income, one that you control. It acts as a buffer, right? A shield against the ups and downs of freight rates, the economy.
Totally. Building that recurring online income means you have more power to decide when you want to retire, not when the industry dictates it.
And maybe crucially, it softens the blow if your company downsizes, gets bought out, or worst case, disappears in all this shuffling.
It's about using that downtime, that off-duty time, wisely. Building something for yourself. Diversifying your skill set, diversifying your income,
Yep.
just like you diversify investments.
It's a really proactive stance, essential probably in an industry changing this fast.
Definitely. You don't want to get caught flat-footed. Remember how drivers adapted from paper logs to ELDs? It was a big shift, but necessary. This is potentially another one of those moments, but on a personal level.
It really makes you think, what kind of future are you listening right now, actively building for yourself, regardless of what happens with giant corporations or driverless tech?
That's the key question.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear the trucking industry is shifting big time. We touched on safety, the real issues, the tragic accidents, the sometimes complicated political narratives around it.
We talked about the vital need for companies to change their culture, to really focus on retaining drivers through respect, better training, maybe innovative logistics like relays.
And we looked at those huge forces, massive tech investments driving consolidation, like with CEVA, and the undeniable approach of autonomous vehicles and legislation like the American Drives Act.
But through it all, a consistent message from the sources is the enduring value of the driver, the need for respect, support, and recognition for the crucial work you do.
Absolutely. Your work keeps everything moving, literally. So the road ahead, it's definitely evolving. Whether you're grappling with new tech, changing fight patterns, or pushing for better treatment and safety, your role isn't just driving the truck anymore. It's about driving your own future.
Taking the wheel of your own career path.
Exactly. So maybe the final thought for you today is, what's one concrete step, maybe just a small one, you can take this week to prepare for what's next? To start building towards getting out, truly, on your terms.
Food for thought.
Definitely. And if you're looking for resources, consider checking out the real world wisdom at lifesayatrucker.com. And for those interested in building those extra income streams, planning for the future, take a look at retirefromtrucking.com. Until next time, stay sharp out there, stay safe, and keep on trucking.